The boy who could hear stars. The village of Lauren lay at the edge of the world. Or at least, that was what the villagers believed. Beyond its grassy hills and silver streams, the land gave way to deep forests and black mountains. And beyond those, no one dared to wander. At night, the sky stretched vast and endless, filled with stars so bright they seemed alive. Leo was different from the other children in Lauren. He didn't run after the goats or play in the dust. He didn't climb apple trees or throw stones in the creek. Instead, he would spend hours lying in the grass at night, his eyes fixed on the heavens, his breath slow and steady, as if waiting for something. It started when he was 6 years old. One summer night, while the village slept, Leo heard a sound unlike anything in the world. It was not the wind, not the rustle of leaves, not the hum of crickets. It was a voice made of music and light. The sound came from above. It shimmered through the air, soft and distant, like bells ringing in an ocean. It was the voice of a star, and it was speaking to him. It said his name. At first, he thought he was dreaming. But the sound came again the next night, and the night after that. The stars spoke in a language his heart could understand, even if his mind could not. Each tone painted pictures in his thoughts. He saw rivers of fire flowing through the sky. He saw great wheels turning in the darkness. He saw gardens made of light, where stars grew like flowers. And somewhere, far beyond it all, a great clock ticked softly, counting down to something unknown. Leo tried to tell his mother, but she only smiled and ruffled his hair. "You have a vivid imagination, my boy," she said. When he told the village priest, the man frowned and warned him to keep quiet. "Such talk brings trouble," the priest muttered. But Leo could not unhear the stars. The years passed. The voices grew clearer, and Leo began to understand that they were not only speaking, they were calling. Sometimes they sang in joy, and sometimes in sorrow. One winter's night, the song was sharper, like glass breaking in the wind. A star's voice trembled as it spoke to him. "They are falling." Leo sat up, his heart pounding. "Who is falling?" he whispered. The answer came not in words, but in a vision so vivid, it made him gasp. High above, a cluster of stars was dimming, their light fading into the void. "They are being swallowed," the voice said. "Soon the darkness will come for all." Leo shivered in his blanket. "What can I do?" he asked. The voice replied, "You must find the gate of dawn." From that night onward, Leo could no longer live like the other villagers. He spent his days searching the forest, the mountains, and the streams for signs. He learned to listen, not only to the stars, but to the earth, the wind, and the rivers. Everything spoke in its own way, and sometimes they whispered of the gate. One evening, the star's song grew urgent, pointing him toward the old ruins. Beyond the forest, no one in the village dared go there. They said ghosts wandered among the stones. But Leo followed the call. The ruins were cold, and smelled of rain and moss. A broken tower leaned against the sky. In the center was a stone arch, covered in carvings, that glowed faintly when moonlight touched them. The stars' voices filled his head. "This is the place," they sang. Leo stepped closer, tracing the carvings with his fingers. They were shapes of suns, phases of moons, and swirling patterns of galaxies. He pressed his hand against the center stone. It was warm, as if it had been waiting for him. Light burst from the carvings, flooding the ruins, and the air shimmered, like heat above a fire. Then the arch opened, not like a door, but like the surface of a pond, breaking into ripples. Beyond it lay a field of light, so bright and endless, that it hurt his eyes. The stars' voices rang like crystal. Leo stepped through. The world dissolved around him. For a moment, he was weightless, floating among the constellations. Each star burned with a unique song, and he could hear them all at once. In the distance, he saw the fading cluster. Shadows coiled around them, cold and hungry. The stars cried out, their voices trembling, and Leo understood he was here to help. He reached out his hands, and the stars' light poured into him. It filled his chest with warmth, flowed down his arms, and burst from his fingertips in a river of silver flame. The shadows hissed and recoiled. The stars flared brighter, their voices swelling in joy. The darkness fled into the void, and the cluster shone once more. Leo felt himself drifting away, pulled gently backward, as if the stars were saying goodbye. When he awoke, he was lying in the grass, outside the ruins. The arch was silent and still. But when he looked up, the stars seemed to wink at him, as if in gratitude. From that night on, the stars' songs were softer, gentler, no longer urgent. Leo knew their voices would never leave him, and that one day, they might call him again. And when they did, he would be ready,